Welcome everyone to Good Morning Gunners. This is one of our pre-recorded interviews that we're doing for our inaugural show, and I couldn't be prouder to be joined by one of the most famous, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Coolest, I don't know, one of the most awesome Arsenal members of the so-called global Arsenal community, Tiffany Campo, who is part of the board of Arsenal America and also the founder of Gooner Gras. And among other things, is one of the individuals who puts on Gooner Gras every year. Have I missed anything? Welcome to Good Morning Gunners, Tiffany Campo.
Hello.
How'd I
hope
do?
you haven't missed anything because that's a lot.
It's morning, so my hair's still standing on end. You're looking as fabulous as ever. Welcome.
This is my running out and grabbing farmer's market look.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm delighted that you've joined us because Good Morning Gunners is a show that has a bit of a different style and twist. The goal is to present a morning show live from that particular continent that goes out to Arsenal fans around the world and to highlight the Arsenal community within that space, market, territory, call it what you want. And I thought, what better place to start for Good Morning Gunners than our own backyard here in these grand old United States of America.
I'm going to forgive you for that one.
Well, you're based in one of the coolest places in the United States. So I'm going to start off with a couple of fun questions because it is a breakfast show and it is going out live, although this is a pre-record. What is your local breakfast? So if it was me in England, of course, it would be, a fry-up. Right. You've had one of those. You've been to London many times and experienced the old, although I'm never going to have black pudding, like ever am I going to have black pudding. So what is the NOLA breakfast? If we were going out today, what would I be ordering?
I like shrimp and grits a lot. That's probably my go-to. There's such a mixed culture here. I love a good Spanish breakfast. Just eggs and plantains and stuff like that. They do a lot of food like that here as well, but for the sort of local flavor for me would be definitely shrimp and grits.
Would anyone have beignets for breakfast?
I mean, if you can deal with that much sugar in the morning, but it's more of a novelty treat. It's like you're not going to go out and get donuts every day. You're not going to go out and get beignets every day. Could I? Yeah, they're freaking delicious. They're better than donuts, but it is fried dough. So some people do, like you have people come into town, right? You get your cafe au lait and you get your beignets and, have a seat out in City Park. And
hey, if you haven't been to Cafe du Monde, you haven't lived. Just saying. But
or
also,
Morning Call, one of the two. The rivalry here.
I would say the locals are the latter, and the tourist trap is du Monde for sure. Okay, so shrimps and grits though. Am I having, because that's carb on the grit? So are we having like an English muffin, perhaps paying homage to England, or are we doing like a sourdough? No bread, it's just shrimp and grits. Get in there, mix it all up, and just woof.
I mean, sometimes they'll do like a toast so you can really like sop up what's left, but you've already got the grits in there. So it's,
all right. Speaking of grits, I don't know how I'm going to segue into this. I was trying, but that was a really piss poor attempt on my behalf, I have to say, Tiff. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about, this is, we love the US. Arsenal love coming to the US. You and I have spoken on other shows many times about being a fan in the United States, but there's going to be a lot of our listeners out here for the Highbury squad that maybe don't know you, and if they don't, shame on you. And also they don't really know to the extent sometimes, I think, of the importance of international fans. Tell us about Arsenal America, how you got involved. Give us an overview of how it's grown, the branches, the members. Talk to us about this incredible organization that you're part of.
So Arsenal America, I think, grew out of sort of people coming together on big soccer, way back when, and realizing that there was this large interest in Arsenal in the States, and coming together to organize something more. Arsenal was really starting to support their supporters clubs at that time, and making people official and whatnot. And so it was organized well before I came on. But I really, as a supporter, didn't know that much about Arsenal America. And there's probably a lot of independent supporters out there that don't know a lot about Arsenal America. Most of what we do is connecting people to the team. During a normal season, our members can get tickets through us to see a match. When they sign up, they get a member pack that could have any number of shirts or hats or scarves or whatever. There's a group where everybody meets on Facebook that has like a match chat every week, or how, if it's international, twice a week, whatever. And then we support other events that go on around the country, and that's kind of where I came in. So I have been involved with Gooner Gras for, what is this, year 8? So since year 2. And that's the big event that we put on in New Orleans. And in year 3, Arsenal America came in and did a little balcony thing of their own and kind of got more involved. And everybody's like, what is this Arsenal America thing? So, in the last few years, I would say that we've partnered more than we did in the years before that. But because they had worked with me in that kind of capacity, they asked me 3 years ago, I think, to join the Arsenal America board in doing events and PR kind of thing. And so I did. It just so happened that within a year and a half of joining, we had with loads of local events that year, which was amazing because, then it's like, well, how can we help, right? How can we help get the word out that you're having this local event or this regional event? And we help the local branches get that word out. Then the following summer, Arsenal came to the US. So all of a sudden, it was a full-time job, essentially. It was still volunteer, but it was really a full-time job. And Arsenal asked me to co-host the 2 national events that they had while they were here, which was really exciting. I, got to do the stage events in Los Angeles and in DC. And aside from that, it was coordinating the buses and the entry to everything and the passes to the matches and all kinds of stuff. So it was huge. It was really, really huge. And then also once a year, other than this past year, of course, we do a road trip where we take 60, 80 Gooners over to the Emirates. And we don't want it to just be, oh, you show up and you go to a match, right? So the last couple of years, I've set up that weekend to include like lunch at Piebury. We do a fundraiser at the Supporters Clubhouse, the only brick and mortar supporters clubhouse in the world is in London, and it's old and it's amazing. And the people who run it, hi Tom, all of those people are fantastic. So we partner with everybody. We get them on Legends tours, and it's a lot of fun. So there's a lot that goes into what the board does. We meet once a month to sort of discuss what more we can do for people and how to get people involved. The way that the branches evolve comes from groups of supporters who have been coming together and decide, okay, we've been coming. We're hi.
Hey, Vinny Vieira.
Vinny. We're locked in. We're going to meet every week, and they reach out to us usually and say, there's not another supporters group within an hour of us that's official. So can we start one?
I also think what's really important for Arsenal fans to know here, and also the ones listening on a global level, and we have fans that listen from Uganda to London, to Mauritius and Beijing and India. And, it's really quite a beautiful thing how the YouTube universe can bring us all together. But your relationships with the club, and in particular, the impact that you and people like Mike from Gooner's podcast and Arsenal America had on the supporters liaison.
Where are you going with this?
I think it's really important that you guys are recognized for the relationship you have with the club, what you've cultivated, because I think it's important for people to realize the importance of all of the community that happens outside of London and the free time and the volunteering that people do, but then that you guys cultivate relationships with these people at the club. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what that meant to you and Arsenal America and what it means to you to have been able to continue being able to provide Arsenal fans in the US with the same type of, not services, but impact, things you could do for them, the connection. Talk us through that a little bit.
Well, for starters, Mark Brindle is incredibly important to us as supporters club leaders and to supporters who don't even know how important he is. When he got that job, it was a dream come true for him. He'd been an Arsenal supporter his entire life. He was like on the train back after his interview and got the call that he was getting this job. And it's this wonderful story if you ever find it online. But more importantly, he shows up for us all the time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just I landed the job and now this is what I do. Like Mark works for us. And I think I knew that there were some cuts in travel and supporters liaisons when they did the original round of cuts. There have been some people that, have not made it through these rounds that have been very disappointing. But when Mark's name even came up, there was just no way to let that go. There was no way to let that go. And it's not just because he still owes me my personal parade the next time I come to London, as he says he does. But because I don't know where we would start. We are already out here trying to keep people connected in a pandemic when we can't get together most of the time to watch matches. And we can't, I haven't been to a match, even a match viewing since September 18th. And that was because it was my husband's 50th birthday. And we wore masks and we sat outside at our favorite pub and they reserved an entire table for us because we did a full-on lockdown. I've, been home for over 400 days. So we, it's hard enough for us to reach people when everybody's in these, whether they go out or they're able to, or they're not able to. And then to take away the connection that we have to the club was just absolutely unacceptable and really out of the question. Like, what the hell were we going to do without Mark Brindle? And most of us didn't really have the capacity in our own lives to sort of regroup around something as big as that. And so,
but what you did was
we got loud.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did. And it was magical and, brave as well, because you're also taking on, you're taking on the club in a way. You're standing up for somebody who really cares. Mark
they get mad at me sometimes. They can get mad at me sometimes.
That's okay. They get mad at you because you know what? You're trying to do the right thing. Yeah, exactly.
They're not always right. I'm not always right. I've had, there are globally acknowledged supporters clubs with Arsenal that, then have the smaller groups within their countries. But they wouldn't do Gooner Gals when that was first created. And so that was very frustrating. And we faced off on that. I mean, listen, it's not always going to happen. It's not always going to work the way that you want it to, but there's more to it. This is a community and we face a lot of different things other than just whether or not somebody's going to take time off the pitch from Smith Rowe.
You know what I love though, Tiff? Do you know what I love is, and this is what I want a lot of Arsenal fans who are listening to this from all corners of the earth, is that when you challenge the club and you ask questions, it's okay. Now, they may agree or disagree. You may not get the answers you want or the end result that you want. But the fact is that there are a lot of people in the Arsenal community who volunteer their free time and don't get a penny for it, who are doing great things for fans across all corners of this earth. And the fact that there are Tiffany Campos, Mike Feinbergs and Laurie Lakers and Arsenal Americas in this world that do that, it's so important for fans to know that. And it's okay to ask questions and speak out. And I'm really proud of everyone associated with Arsenal America, and in particular you and Mike, for standing up. And, I think Mark will appreciate it until, the end of days, because what you were able to do and the voice that you projected and what you did to stand up for him resulted in him still being at the club, which means in turn all of the thousands and thousands of members of Arsenal America and other places around the world, they get a guy who cares and is really going to put in an effort for them.
Well, and of course I would love to think that he stayed because they know what a value he is, and they were never actually going to let him go. They just somewhere along the line had to put his name on a list or something. I don't ever want to believe that they would have let someone as valuable as that go, because that to me would mean that they don't value the supporters as much as they would need to value the supporters, because he is our real main connection. And for as much as we can talk about Arsenal America, there are Arsenal Americas all around the globe, right?
Yes.
And so he has started having, Mark Brindle has started having video conferences with us so that he can keep us really connected as much as he can to the club and to what's going on, and to when supporters can come back, and letting us know what he knows. And I know that he was very humbled by all the loud mouths.
I love it.
But,
my last name's Nicolau, and in school it was Nicolaud Mouth. So I hear you there.
That makes so much sense, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, yeah, if anyone would get it, it's you. I love that. Okay, so awesome stuff. And then real quick, Arsenal America's in good shape, even during the pandemic. I know fans haven't been able to go to the pub. I know I've been gassing to go down to LA and watch games, and then of course the Fox and Hound and then the supporters clubs here near closer to where I live in Orange County, desperate to get back to games, and that's slowly opening up here in the US. Everyone's good, everyone's okay and surviving each of the branches.
Some of our branches have lost their pubs, which has been the very unfortunate side of this, because there are some very strong groups that are now going to have to regroup elsewhere when everybody's vaccinated, and they can get out and meet up in groups, or the businesses are permitted to open. But the loss of those home pubs is pretty devastating for some groups. So, which seems like, oh, it's a pub. Well, it's not. It's a community center for us.
Correct.
So that matters. And we've worked really hard to support our pubs while they were closed, or while their business has been 25% or whatever. A lot of places have opened up like a bartender Venmo, when you pour yourself a drink this weekend, tip your bartender kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And I love stuff like that, but we're trying to come up with
very
things.
cool.
So this year we didn't, because we couldn't offer ticketing, and we weren't going to have events. We didn't charge for the membership. We rolled it over. It was a board-wide decision. Everybody agreed, we won't be able to afford to do anything, but there's nothing we could possibly ask of people when so many people have lost their jobs. And, they can't join us for events anyway. And so we elected to just roll it over this year. We were hoping to come back strong next year. The stadium is hoping to come back strong by the start of the next season. By August, they could be at 60,000 again for all we know. So that's the hope.
And then hopefully that means our team comes next summer for a tour, and we all get to go see the Star Trek spaceship down in LA, the home of the Rams, because I'm sure that's where they're going to be playing. Yeah. Tiff, I've been waiting for this. I'm rubbing my hands together.
Excited if I want them to come back.
I know. But it's good to hear that somehow the community's still coming together. I love the Venmo thing. I mean, we're all having to reinvent ourselves, aren't we, in so many ways during this pandemic, and still trying to stay connected as a community and help people as well. And I know that you not only do that, you come from an epic family that does that anyway. So you're just kind of taking what you know and what you do in your life, and you're adapting it to the Arsenal community who you love. And I know that
I have to stop taking things that I love and turning them into work.
I know. I always say,
you too.
I know I do, because someone taught me very early on. One of my mentors, head at 20th Century Fox, said, Sophie, if you can take your passions and turn them into your professions, or make them part of your daily method of operation, you'll be a very happy person. So here I am talking on a podcast that pays me no money, but I'm very happy.
But you took it like way over here.
way over there. So did you. We're cut from the same cloth. Okay, so let's talk a little bit before I let you go. And you're listening to Good Morning Gunners here. It's our inaugural show. We're really proud of what we're trying to do here, connecting fans around the world. Tiffany Campo, who is a board member of Arsenal America, the founder of Gooner Gras, and also one of the top shelf folks involved in Gooner Gras. And let me tell you, I'm going to Gooner Gras the first time it opens up. I mean, my liver may not survive, but my mind might, so I could live to tell the tale. But tell us about Gooner Gras. I'm a member on the Facebook group. It's amazing. You've grown it incredibly beautifully. So many women on there. And I'm launching a new segment on the show this week called Wednesday Women. And I'm really proud of what we're trying to do. We at the Hybrid Squad are very proud of this new segment. We've always tried to highlight women as much as possible on our show, but now we're going to have a dedicated segment to it on Wednesdays, Wednesday Women. And Gooner Gals, there's so many incredible women. Tiff, tell us about what started off as let's just huddle and talk football to where it is now.
So I was first of all, I love the word gals. That was a very I love very retro things, and
very Lauren Bacall and Marilyn Monroe and Rita Hayworth. I love it. Yeah.
And I had never liked, and this is very personal, and this is not against anybody who does, but I had never liked the word goonerette, because to me it sounds diminutive. It sounds like a miniature of a gooner, and we're no.
Does that mean you don't like the Rockettes? You think there's something?
Well, I mean, they could probably kick me right in the head, so I'm not going to talk bad about the Rockettes. But so anyway, so I was in these small chats, right, with other women talking about football, and I thought, if we're having these chats, then other people probably are as well, who are in other cities. We were having this local group here in New Orleans with Jill and Allie and Eliza and all of the people who we would normally see at the pub. There is a larger online group for the New Orleans Gooners. But if you've ever tried to just jump into a Facebook chat, just the DMs, right? And have a comment, and then it's passed by like 25 more comments, and then you're not even sure what we're talking about anymore. This was sort of an offshoot so that we could actually have a conversation. And I thought, this has got to be happening elsewhere. And I told the girls, I said, I had named our chat Gooner Gals. And I said, I really want to put this out to everybody. So I reached out to some of the other female leaders from around the country, the leader of Chicago Gooners and just several others, some of the leadership from San Antonio, and said, do you guys want to jump on as moderators and help me do this? I'm going to open this up, whatever. And everybody was on board. So we did it. And it grew really fast. I think we've got about 600 members over the last few years, which, it's not one of those like, oh, on Twitter, I've got 25,000 followers. These people are actually
they're
engaged.
Hardcore members. I'm in the group. Like they know their football as well. They are on it every single time that we play.
Right. So we do a match thread for every match. We do a match thread. We have one of our ladies in India is actually the one that puts up the match thread every week, and she is on it an hour before the minute the lineup comes out. She's got it posted. She's ready to go. And so the people who have kind of naturally come forward are the ones who've ended up, posting the most and kind of leading the way on the conversations. But it's just a nice, clean, safe space. There's nothing sexist, and there's nothing,
it's really cool. And if you want to join, it's Gooner Gals on Facebook and Twitter, and it's a fantastic organization, really smart women who know their football, and also hilarious, by the way. Some fantastic banter.
Some really good people on there.
Yeah,
but then also, what grew from that was really amazing, because we do have these events all over the world, right? And so this turned into, we had a Gooner Gals meetup at the Tollington in London.
Amazing.
A few years ago. We've had them at every major event. We've had a Gooner Gals weekend in Chicago. We have an annual meetup here for Gooner Gras, and it's turned into, people will go into the group and say, listen, I want to go to this event. Is anybody else going? And that's how they room together. You know, it keeps us safe. It keeps us connected. And it's just grown into a really beautiful thing. So I'm very, very proud of it.
Awesome. I love it. And like I said, you can find the Gooner Gals, Gals, Gooner Gals on Facebook, Twitter. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Tiff, and you can see her ID here at Nola Ask Gal as well on Twitter. So you can always reach out to her with any questions and stuff like that about that. Before I let you go, now I'm lying because this is Sophie time, as you know. This always happens on the pod. We can't leave without talking about Gooner Gras. And I know that it just grows every single year. All I see and all I hear is stories from like Rick and Mike about how they left their liver in Nola, as did, I think, Robbie from AFTV and all the special guests that you had the last time you were here. It just is such a shame that the pandemic kind of hit when it did, because it felt like it was just moving to the next level and stuff. So tell us about Gooner Gras, how you guys have been able to kind of stay connected, what your plans are for February, if it's going to happen. Talk us through that one a little bit too, Tiff.
So we do have plans for next February. You can go to the website now. It's at goonergras.com, GOONERGRAS.com. And it's got the whole banner, and you can see sort of the history. And every year we do, you know, a carousel of pictures from whoever was king and queen that year. But basically, it's 3 to 4 days of everybody coming together in New Orleans. We have a fundraiser for last year. It's changed. We've had it for youth soccer before. We last year donated all of the money to St. Baldrick's for childhood cancer research.
Amazing.
And we've been able to donate thousands and thousands of dollars from this. So that's the best part of it to me, that we do the raffle and we raise the money. Everybody donates the items that we raffle off. So that's really helpful. Mark has sent me, you know, old programs and stuff to raffle off. So Steve Manios, another huge name in Arsenal America, right? He always sends me this huge chest, and he has the Highbury flag. And
Whoa.
He sends it to me, like, you know, under armed guard every year to
dangles it like a carrot, does he?
Yeah. He's already been king before, so that's not what he's looking for. But, you know, we crown a king and a queen each year, and it's the people who are involved in the community, the people who support each other in the community, and who put the word out about Gooner Gras. So it's, you know, people who've been coming back over and over, and it's really nice to be able to recognize those people. And then we have a night, you know, of course we do loads of things in our local pub. If there's a match, then there's a viewing. But it's really worked out kind of funny, because when there's not a match, things just keep rolling. Like, it's never, one year we didn't have a match, but when we rolled in, the Tottenham match was ending.
I love it.
Which was amazing.
That's awesome.
So, you know, we've done a lot of stuff like that. The Saturday night is one of the bigger, more debauchery-filled parades in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, which we love. It's very home crafted. It's very sort of rugged and dirty, and
And I bet you're all going for beignets. You're all going for beignets after that, aren't you?
Yeah, right. You're eating like bread after that.
Yeah.
And we have a balcony, you know, over the parade, and there's a big party. So it's so much fun. Everybody leaves here with a bigger family than they came here with. You know, we've had so many people who've come, and they didn't know anybody. They just bought a ticket and came. You know.
And is that mostly fans? You got fans coming from other parts of the world too, didn't you?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. We had a couple people from Australia, I think was probably the furthest, or maybe somebody from New Zealand.
Amazing.
It depends on which way you fly. We always have people from London, you know, all over the US and Canada.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it's people come from all over. This isn't, like a mostly locals thing and some people pop in. This is like 200 to 300 people who come from everywhere. And 200 to 300 people doesn't sound like a big group, but if you think about like a reception for a wedding that has
Oh yeah.
300 people, that's a big party.
Yeah, and
And
you're having to organize and facilitate and kind of be the PR and the,
with
like,
like 7 other people. So it's
yeah,
not, there's a team that
yeah, yeah,
does
yeah.
all
There's
of
always
that.
a
But
team. There's always a
yeah,
team.
that like, there's no way that a couple of us could do that on our own. So right now we're sort of starting soft, right? We don't know what's happening yet. We're in this transitional phase, as far as getting together and being knowing how many people can come together. And we may have to do something more intimate. We may have to cap the numbers. We don't know yet, but we hope to know more by the summer. We're already in touch with our vendors, and
Very cool.
we did the little Gooner Gras, the Ocho logo
Yeah,
from the old ESPN.
that was very cool, by the way. That was very cool.
And it was funny how many people totally got it. They understood exactly what we were doing.
Very good stuff. Yeah. Well, look,
Yeah.
I'm coming. If it's happening, I'm coming next year. It's happening.
Can't
It's
wait to
there's
have
no,
you.
yeah, there's no way I'm missing out on that. Listen, you've been amazing. I can't let you go without fans knowing who your all-time favorite Arsenal player is and your current favorite. And then, of course, I'm going to have to get a 30-second snippet on whether you're an Arteta fan or not. So, all-time favorite Arsenal player is?
Thierry Henry.
Can't argue with that. And bless him for all the things he's trying to do this week with racism. And
100%.
if you haven't seen the Darren Lewis interview, I think Darren did that on CNN. Check it out. Very, very. And Darren's been a great guest on our show as well. And I'm hoping that we're going to get him back on to talk about the Thierry Henry piece as well. Your current favorite Arsenal player?
Tierney.
Do you have the shirt? Yeah, I've got a picture of you. Yeah. I love it.
I just, I love, he's so old school and he's
Isn't
so like
he?
rugged football. And I just like, he could be playing rugby.
I know. Was it the Tesco bag changed everything, didn't it? It really did.
Oh, I don't have my phone in here, but somebody did a piece of art based on that. Did you see it? Where it looked like it was game. Yeah.
Yes.
That's my background on my phone.
Oh yeah, it's gold. It's absolute gold. Definitely a lot of Arsenal fans think he's a future captain as well. That's a good one. And then regarding Mikel Arteta, I
trust him.
I'm going to marinate.
Trust him.
Yeah, you still trust him. Okay.
You know what? I loved him when he played for us. And I think that he's obviously trained under some amazing people, not just Pep, but I mean, obviously Arsene Wenger. And I think that he's made some, it's hard because it's like when we're having a rough time, right? It's always on him. And we're having a good time, it's always on him. Mm-hmm. But then there's always those people who will always give him more credit than he should have. Ultimately, it's a job, right? Nothing's ever going to go just right. When you've got, have you ever done a group project?
It's not easy. It's not easy leading a team, and you and I do that in our daily lives. It's not easy doing that, let alone lead an army of men every single week for a like multi-billion-dollar corporation. Yeah, it's
herding cats.
It's not easy.
So I think what he knows what he has to do. He's there's a lot of firsthand experience, obviously, on his part, and what he's done since the festive season has been fantastic. Obviously, much better. I'm a little worried about all of the injuries, but I think he's making some sound decisions. And right now, I hate turnover. I really do.
I think it'd be terrible. Like whether he wins the Europa League or not, whether he finishes in the bottom half of the table, he's staying. They're going to give him the next window, and rightly so. And if we're in the same league position in November of this year, then I think you can start asking questions and stuff. But man, if we win that Europa League, woo, it's all a moot point, isn't it? It's
well, and as much as we've been talking about the environmental circumstances of coronavirus, COVID-19, they're having the same thing. I mean, he actually had it, so they have dealt with, no fans in the stadiums. They've dealt with travel restrictions. They've dealt with people getting sick or having to quarantine. I mean, it's not as if they're not faced with the same sort of challenges, albeit in a different arena than the rest of us are. So
no, it's a great
I give
point.
him another year. for
It's
sure.
a great point,
Easily.
Tiff, because we've talked about it to people in the Premier League. I had a conversation with John Harkes, the original, American golden boy of soccer, who now manages in USL, to talking to the new LA Galaxy head coach and the players there. I mean, I think sometimes we think they're supermen, because of the fact that athletes, and we think they're just in this bubble, but they're still having to go home to their families. It's not been easy. And I know, a lot of people on the front lines too. I mean, this is one of the toughest things we've had to navigate through as a generation, multiple generations. So
I think
sometimes
they're judged a lot on their paycheck.
yes, 100%.
And
Yes.
to me, that's really unfair. No increase in my payroll has ever brought me closer to perfection. And
Very well said.
I don't, they're paid on, whatever pay scale they've got or whatever the market deems them worth.
Correct.
But it's what's in them that's going to make them better and who's leading them. And I think that right now we're connecting. It's a matter of whether or not the connections, are cemented and carry us forward and give us a better season next year.
Well, hope isn't a plan, but we live in hope because it still exists. And Tiffany Campo, if anyone was out there that gave Arsenal fans hope and brought them together and connected them, it is you and many other great folks who are part of Arsenal America and who do great things. You're an epic human being, firstly, but also just love the way you love the Arsenal. And I couldn't think of a better example to show to Arsenal fans around the world how much Arsenal are loved. And you don't have to live in London or England to be able to do that. So let everyone know where they can find you and follow you.
Well, I mean, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, obviously. Twitter at Nola Arsgal, NOLAARSEGAL, a little bit cheeky, but that's okay. And then
we love cheeky.
Instagram is the same thing.
Okay, so, awesome. And then Gooner
and then we also have at Gooner Gals.
Yeah.
For both. We also have at Gooner Gras for both.
Okay, perfect.
And then we have goonergras.com for the event itself. So
okay,
check
brilliant.
us out. Join us in February.
I love it. I will be joining you in February. Thanks so much for joining Good Morning Gunners and being one of our first ever guests on the inaugural show. We appreciate you always. Thanks, Tiff.
Thrilled to be here.